Okay, so I've created a file to save all my DBI classes into that I learned from in video 1. What do I do now? Well, once you get an email from Desert Bible Institute, as you can see right here, and I can see what class it is, in this case it's Making Disciples, I want to open that up. So I'm going to double left click on that file. And I can see that here's a file from Dropbox from Desert Bible Institute that says here's your class on evangelism. And I even see the title there, Making Disciples Evangelism. By clicking where it says click here, it's going to open up a link to all of those files that are on that computer. This file is going to stay open for about 30 days from when you first get it. So make sure to download those in the first 2 or 3 weeks when you get it. You'll only have to do this once. To save the files, I'm going to hover over them. And notice, real quick, that these are already in an order. This is Making Disciples 1A, the next one's 1B, the next one's 2A, the next one's 2B, and so forth. If they're not in order, or you want to put it in a different order, you can do that later if you want to. So, I'm going to hover over the first lecture so I can save the first one to my computer. You'll notice that it underlines it when I hover over it. If I left-click on this, it's going to open it up, and I'll see a file with an audio symbol on it saying Making Disciples 1A, and I can even see that it's an MP3 file. To download it, I click on Download. Now, at the bottom of my screen, I have a window comes up that asks me what I want to do with it. Do I want to open it, do I want to save it, or do I want to cancel it? Well, this one I want to save. But I don't want to click on the Save button. If I click on that, it simply saves it to where most of my downloads go. That could be a number of different places. Since I already made a file, I want to save it in a specific place. So, in this arrow next to Save, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to see a box that opens up that says Save, Save As, or Save and Open. Save, again, is going to send that to where most of my files go. Save and Open will start to play it. I'm not quite ready to do that yet, so I'm going to click on Save As. Now, I'll notice that this opens up, and I've got a lot of different choices here. Where I primarily want to pay attention is over here to the side where it says Libraries. If you remember from File 1, we chose to put it in the Music library. We could have put it in Documents, Pictures, Videos, what have you, but we chose to put it into Music, so I'm going to click on Music right here. And then you'll see all my music files open up. Now, if I look down here, I see that I happen to have DBI classes. So if I double left click on that, it will open up. And there's the Romans class that we created in video 1. But this isn't a Romans class, is it? This is my Making Disciples class. So what do I do here? Well, I can just save it to the file and put it into a folder later. That's fairly simple. Or, it's far quicker to just create another file at this point. If I, inside this box, do a right click on my mouse, I'll see that box open up again. And as I scroll down to where it says New, down here towards the bottom, it'll ask me what new thing I want to create. Well, I want to create a new folder for my Making Disciples class. And I see a new folder right up here, so I click on that. And as you notice, it's now created a new file. It's called it New Folder and highlighted it. Now, I can click anywhere in here, and it'll just call it New Folder. But since I want to call it something specific, I'm going to click on that title, New Folder, and if I click on it twice, it'll highlight it again. And I can call this my Making Disciples course. Excellent. Now I've titled it by clicking outside the box. That now becomes the title of the file. Of course, the file's empty right now because I haven't put anything in it. I just made it. So if I double click where the folder is, it opens up, and of course it's empty. But if you look down here, I've got where it says Making Disciples That Make a Difference, Lecture 1A. Now I can rename it at this point if I want to, but it's probably best just to leave the titles the way they are. They're already well organized. You'll also notice down here, double check to make sure it says that this is an MPEG Layer 3 audio. And that makes sure that it's an audio file and not an Explorer file or a video file or a document file. Now that I've done all of that, and I've got my folder set up, DBI classes, Making Disciples, I'm ready to come down here and click Save. Now I've got that saved into my file. Now I come back to here, where I was originally with my download. If I go up to the arrow that tells me to back up. I can back up into that set of links I had from before. And there they are. 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and so forth. To download the next one, I just hover over, in this case, Making Disciples 1B. You can see it's underlined again. I click on it, and it opens up, and I see that same audio icon, but this one says 1B. So by clicking on Download, it's going to want to save that into my computer. And as before, I have a file that opens up that says Making Disciples That Make a Difference, 1B in this case. And it's an MP3, it's an audio file. So I go over to Save, to the arrow, I click on the arrow, and I click Save As. When I click on Save As, you'll notice that my first file, Making Disciples That Make a Difference 1A, is already downloaded, is in there, it's ready to be listened to. But this one is Making Disciples That Make a Difference 1B. Notice again, it's an MP3 file, so I can listen to it, and then I can go over here and click Save. Now I've saved my second file. You'll keep repeating this process until you have all of them on there. This shouldn't take you too terribly long, depending on what kind of internet connection you have. Figure a minute or two for each file as it downloads. When I'm ready to listen to them, I can go back into my files. In this case, I'm just going to go straight to my file folder, click on it, and then I'll have my music file. I can click on that, and I'll see my DBI classes. I can open that. I can see my Romans and my Making Disciples classes. I click on that, and there are both the lectures. If I want to listen to it, if I double left click on it, it'll find whatever player it happens to be in my computer at the time and start playing it. If you have any more questions about downloading these, please send your request to Dr. Nicholson at desertbibleinstitute.org.